What is up, guys? Zan from Forward Progress Madden, and in this video we are going to talk about how to stop the wide receiver swerve. Now this tip is going to be on the outside, where people swerve on the outside because that's the majority of the swerves that you're going to see, but this tip does work on the inside against cover 2 as well. Now, disclaimer, I don't want anybody coming in here and saying, oh, I promise if you run this against me, I'll swerve you all day. Yes, people still can swerve. But what this tip is going to do is it's going to make the risk of swerving far outweigh the reward. And kind of full disclosure, not something I'm proud of, but myself and the person that are labbing this in this live lab on my Twitch account, we actually are pretty proficient at swerving. If it's going to be allowed in a competitive setting, though I'm not in agreement with it being allowed, it's something that I have to have in my arsenal if I'm going to try to compete and win money in the tournament. Again, not something I'm proud of, but something you have to have. So as you can see, it looks like we're actually terrible at swerving, and that's really not the case. So don't say that either. What we are doing is disengaging the DB from the wide receiver. What you do is you have to click onto the DB while the ball is in the air and run back into where the ball is going to land, that orange marker that is on the field. Don't press Y, X, or A. So that would be triangle, square, or X on the PlayStation. You have to run back to that spot, and then you input the play ball mechanic to try to get an interception. What this does is, first and foremost, it disengages the DB from the wide receiver, so you can't get that tracing animation where the wide receiver can swerve the DB to the inside and then swerve back out and get a rat catch for a touchdown. By disengaging him, you're going to allow yourself to force the DB, or the wide receiver rather, to play some sort of rack animation while you're playing the ball. And what that does is it gives you an advantage on actually getting an interception. Now, this doesn't go to mean that this is an unstoppable tactic by disengaging the DB. If your wide receiver has a high jump and spec catch rating, there are going to be times where they snag the ball without actually swerving from in front of you. And it can be frustrating, but it's far better than giving up the alternative, which is a touchdown to the swerve. So keep in mind, you have to click on, run back to where the ball is going to land, and then time it by pressing the Y button to intercept that. And I promise you that if you guys practice this, this is something that's going to become second nature to you. And the last thing I want to touch on is a lot of these look like they're overthrows. That is what happens when you do this successfully and don't intercept it. The wide receiver only has a limited number of animations that they can perform. And because they're not tracing, they don't have the CB tracing the wide receiver, they can't get back to the ball and get a rack animation. So they get that kind of spinning animation in the air. So hope this video helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to drop a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys tomorrow with another Madden 17 tip.